Hello, my Teaserking family. How the hell is everybody? What's today? Thursday? Happy Thursday. I think it's Thursday. I'm losing track of the days now. With the holiday over, I think it's Thursday. See, I got my ginger in there and my cinnamon in there. So, what should we talk about today? Well, of course, we'll talk football. I'd also like to talk about the banks. All I hear is these girls saying, "Oh no, leave our money in the bank." Somehow trusting them with your money, thinking that's okay. They would never scam us. The banks make Bernie Madoff look like a Boy Scout. Who do you think helped Bernie Madoff? Oh, yeah, J.P. Morgan. The same people that fuck with our gold. The biggest crooks in the world, the ones who run the government. Yeah, I trust them. Oh, my God. And the best part of the Ponzi schemers are they never go to jail. Or Bernie goes to jail. These people don't. Now, let's talk about their Ponzi scheme. So, again, Bobby puts $100,000 in my bank. And I promised Bobby 5%. So every month, Bobby's going to get 1/12 of 5%. Where the hell am I going to get the money to pay him? Hey, Greg and John. So where am I going to get money to pay Bobby his interest? Greg and John's got to give me money. Oh, isn't that the same thing as Madoff? Isn't it the same Ponzi scheme? I have to get a new investor in to pay Bobby. Now, if I'm Madoff, the difference is I don't invest it. I just take Greg and John's money and give a little bit to Bobby. If I'm J.P. Morgan, I take Greg and John's money. Maybe I put it in T-bills, which seems like what they did. I need to invest it because I need to make enough money to grab some off the top to pay Bobby. So how am I going to do that? Saban and Belichick are out. The coaches are flying off the radar. Well, and so is Coach Pete. So I knew Saban was gone. That's why I was shocked they lost to Michigan. You would have thought if anything was fixed, that would have been that game would have been fixed. Where Saban leaves, winning the Super Bowl. I mean, that's why Georgia wasn't in the playoff. They were trying to give it to Alabama because it was Saban's last year. Another Ponzi scheme. There's so much bullshit, illegal corruption that it's just really funny. Anyway, back to the banks. So it's all a Ponzi scheme. If I don't get new people, how am I supposed to pay Bobby? So then I take the money and I have to get a loan for it. So somebody's got to want a house or car. So I can charge them more money than I'm giving Bobby. So I'm giving Bobby 5%. So therefore, why do you think interest rates are higher on cars and houses? Well, because of inflation, number one. Always drives up interest rates. Interest rates will never go down. All this bullshit of the Fed lowering rates, it'll never happen because they did not get inflation down to 3%. That's bullshit. There's no way to get inflation down. Once you print all the money and you've devalued the money, there's no way to get the money back. I printed $10 trillion. It's out there. There's no way to get it back. It's out of the bottle. So if they want to joke with you about inflation being 2%, they're out of their fucking minds. Well, I guess they only count certain types. Oh, we don't count food or housing or electricity or gas. No. So in that way, and that's not, yeah, maybe it is 2%. If we only count the stuff that's 2%, but that's not inflation. It's cost. So if I got Bobby and I got Greg and John, there's no way to pay them unless I get more, or I do a loan. And the loan has to be more than what I'm paying them. So if I'm paying them both 5%, the loan has to be 8%. Because, by the way, I need to make money too. I'm a bank. I'm not giving Bobby and Greg and John 5% without me getting something. I'm not going to lose money by loaning them out 5%. So, A, I get new people in, Ponzi scheme. B, I get people that I can lend money to, houses and cars at 8 or 9%, and hope they can pay it back. Which we've seen, they had trouble with housing. So if I don't make a loan, which is extremely hard right now, my only other option is to print money. So I'm one up on Madoff because he had to get new investors. I don't need new investors. I just print more money. I need so much money to pay Bobby and Greg and John off, and I want to make money too. So this is a bank. Now what's going to happen to the banks when people pull their money out, such as the Chinese, the Germans, the Saudis, half of Europe, half of Asia? What do you think is going to happen to the bank when they don't have money to loan out? And or when the people with the loans don't pay? Oh, you mean they're all going to go out? So if I have any money in that, I'm fucked. Basically. Why is that going to happen? Well, the inflation. Things start, the dollar loses value. Number one. So the dollar's value is down to what? It's down 99%. So it's 1%. 1% of 100's a dollar. So the dollar has no value. People need to eat, pay their rent. Probably not pay their credit cards. Probably not pay their car payment. So the bank looking for this money and won't get it. And then the other people say, I don't want my money in US dollars because they're not worth anything. And they start pulling it out. And that's really what happens, right? So they pull all their money out. There is no money left. They can't loan any, and the bank goes under. So when your friends say, I'd rather have my money in the bank than in gold, you go, why? So you're trusting the bank. We know we can trust gold because that can never happen. We try to trust the bank. the banks are going under because if everybody pulls their money out, they don't have any money in. If they get their loans, they don't have to pay it. But where are they going to get the money? Remember, Bobby gives them $100,000. They don't keep the $100,000. That's gone, right? So they need money to pay his interest. But if he takes this $100,000 out, I don't have it. That's where the problem is. So all these people take their money out, boom, it's gone. So you have your $100,000 in the bank because it's safe, and how are they going to pay you? They don't have any money. And they're going to take it before they give it to you. So anyway, if you think leaving your money in the bank is better than putting it in gold, try it again. So Bobby, Greg, and John, you can present this first 11 minutes to your girlfriends to say, you don't want it in the bank. It's not safe there. It is safe in gold. So I wanted to put this first because I know I'm getting a lot of, well, my friends' girlfriends don't want us to take the money out of the bank. They don't want us in gold. Even though what I teach is to put it in gold because it's the only safe thing you can put it in. There can't be Ponzi schemes. Madoff can't touch gold. So I'm surprised Madoff didn't put it into gold instead of these houses and a yacht. If he did, then when he didn't get money in, he could have sold his gold to pay off some of these people until 2008 was over. He'd have made money with gold. I guess he wasn't very smart either. All right. We'll talk about bricks in a little bit. Let's go to football. So let's go through the line. I think I figured out the Cleveland-Houston game. All right. Cleveland is 2, down from 2.5, and 44.5. Kansas City 4.5, 44.5. Buffalo 10, 36.5. Dallas 7, 50.5. Detroit 3, 51.5. And Philadelphia somehow is still a 3-point favorite, 43.5. So we dig into these and try to, okay, who's the better team here? So let's go into the injuries. Who am I missing here? Who do I not have? So we can ignore Baltimore right now because we don't care. Buffalo, Josh Allen probable. Bunch of guys I never heard of. So they're pretty healthy. Cleveland, some wide receiver I never heard of, Tillman. So the real Delpet, the safety from LSU, questionable with the groin. He'll play. Amari Cooper is probable with the heel. Flacco probably with the calf. Bell, the wide receiver, probable with the back. Kareem Hunt, questionable with the groin. Myles Garrett, questionable with the shoulder. That's about all that I would know. So, banged up, and you got a few questionables. What's the latest news on what, Greg and John? Don't just say that. I mean, what do you want to know? Dallas. Deuce Vaughn's out. I like Deuce Vaughn from Kansas State. All those little guys in Kansas State are usually pretty good. So Dallas looks pretty healthy. I'm not catching anybody that's hurt. Detroit, don't know too many people here. Let's see. Jamison Williams, probable. He sucks anyway. Raymond, the punt returner, is doubtful. Laporta, the tight end's doubtful. I swear the Detroit radio guys are the dumbest, most clueless radio show to understand the football. These guys are morons. They can't get to any concept at all about the game. Some guy calls in. Do you think the Rams coach McVay is better than the Lion coach? By a mile. I mean, it's not even close. And they go, yeah, I think the Lions coach is better. What, are you out of your mind? Lion coach still goes for it on fourth down. He hasn't caught the concept of putting away to let your defense play. Not only that, he's never done anything. Hasn't won any games that are meaningful. I don't know what you're looking at that you think he's a good coach and better than Sean McVay. Wow. I mean, you don't really know that answer, do you? Because he's never been in a playoff game. Sean McVay won a Super Bowl. He lost one to the New England. But he got Super Bowls. Won a playoff game. But they'll sit there and it's always pro-Lions. It's like, dude, we're not idiots. We know you don't know what you're talking about. That's what you get from the hometown boys that are just, oh, the Lions are wonderful. It makes me throw up in the car. So really nothing major. Just the tight end's doubtful with the knee. He's obviously out based on that injury. Otherwise, there's nothing. They don't have much. So you can't lose much, unfortunately. But for them, Goff is playing. They'd be better without him. He'll choke. He'll throw 3 interceptions. Green Bay. Let's see. Jalen Reed, MSU, is probable. And Aaron Jones, the running back, is questionable with the knee. The guy's always hurt, at Aaron Jones. Dillon, the backup running back, is questionable with the stinger. He'll play with the stinger. The receivers, Dobbs and Watson. Dobbs is questionable. Watson's out with the hamstring. So Green Bay is a little handicapped. If they don't have Jones, they're in big trouble. We'll see. Houston. Jerry Hughes, I know from TCU. That's one guy. I don't know the receivers. Woods from USC is terrible. Brown, I don't know. That's about it. Bunch of nobodies. Kansas City. Now, they got a lot of probables. 2 quarterbacks are probable. Vandal Scantling, the wide receiver, is probable. Tackle's probable. The tight end, Noah Gray, whoever. Some more DBs are probable. Bolton, linebacker, probable. You get this team pretty healthy. They got a very strong defense. Pacheco, probable at the shoulder. Ray Rice, probable at the hamstring. Tony, questionable. You better off without him. Kelsey's questionable at the neck. All right. Now it's going to be cold there. What do we got? 9 degrees with 50-mile-an-hour winds. We'll check if it's updated today. We just got a little bit of snow, not too bad, yesterday. It's definitely colder. I need my winter coat. The Rams are pretty healthy here. None of the big names are out or questionable. Miami's a train wreck. Jalen Ramsey, questionable. Akinane is questionable with the toe of the running back. Tyreek Hill's questionable with an ankle, and he kept getting out of that game last week. Only in the cold, he can't. It's not going to warm up for him. He's in big trouble there. Waddle, questionable with an ankle. Same thing. Ankle injuries in the cold are not going to. It's not going to come in. Mozart also. They got acne. So their top two receivers are in big trouble here. Not something in Miami they could do it, but not in 15-degree weather. The Eagles, oh my God, Devontae Smith, they don't need him. Questionable with the leg. Swift they need. He'll be playing. He's just got an illness. A.J. Brown is questionable with the knee. Should be okay. Jalen Hurts, questionable with the finger. Slay is out, the cornerback. Nakobe Dean's out, my linebacker from Georgia. So Philly's in a lot of trouble. I mean, not that Jalen Hurts is any good anyway, but if he's got finger problem, and depending on what hand it's on, he's in big trouble. But if you don't have Swift, now they got Goodwill. Goodbar, whatever, and then the receivers are both questionable with leg and knee injuries. They're in big fucking trouble here. Pittsburgh, Najee Harris, questionable with the knee. TJ Watt is out. That's a huge loss, I think. I mean, they have backups. Everybody's like, oh, they can't replace TJ Watt. Bullshit, they can replace him. Tampa Bay is very healthy. They got nothing. They got a DL who's questionable with the calf and a linebacker questionable with the calf and some receiver. So Tampa's very healthy. Philly's very hurt. Let's go to the other one. Let's go to our RotoWire and get our weather. All right. So from this look, we got Flacco against Stroud. Amari Cooper's questionable, but as we looked on the other, he's probably playing. It's in a dome, no weather. Miami, KC. Miami's in trouble. Mozart, Hill, and Waddle are all questionable, and so's Tag. KC's very healthy, except for Tony, but he drops the passes all the time anyway, so you'd rather have him out. You got Mahomes and Pacheco and Watson and Kelsey are fine. So huge edge to Kansas City there. We've got 4 degrees and 17-mile-an-hour winds. You want to bet Miami in the frozen tundra? Be my guest. Eagles will lose. Well, the Eagles are in trouble if all their players can't play. Their defense sucks, and if Matt Patricia's the defensive coordinator, the Philly coach is going to be joining Belichick and Nick Saban real quick also. So we don't know if the Eagles will lose yet. Let's wait and see if these injuries don't get healed. As it stands now, they will lose, but Tampa doesn't really have that explosive offense to take advantage of this terrible defense. So don't write out Philadelphia yet. They went to the Super Bowl last year. Now, I was looking at their schedule, and it was really like the murderer's row. It was like facing the 27 Yankees. I mean, it was like, okay, Dallas, okay, then Kansas City, okay. Then we go to Buffalo. Okay. They won those 3. Oh, then they had the 49ers who killed them, and then let's play Dallas again. Then we're going to go play, I think they played Miami. No, they had already played them. And they lost to Seattle. It was like, look at this schedule. So you want to win the Super Bowl or be in the Super Bowl, you're in big trouble the next year because you're facing all the first place teams. You're not going to go 8-8. The fact they went 11-6 is incredible. So you've got Miami at a huge disadvantage, 4 degrees, 17-mile-an-hour winds in KC against a very strong 21 defense. I mean, and the over-under is 44. There's only one way to play this game, which is very strong under. Hey, Alex. Yeah, I'm just talking about that. I don't know. Bobby Bo does what Bobby Bo does. Eagles D sucks, yes. Bucks offense sucks, yeah. Bucks defense is good, maybe. Philly and the under. I don't know. I just said the injuries to Philly. I'm not quite sure you want to take Philly. And I'm not quite sure you want to take the under against this defense. Who is the college team that you root for? I don't have one. I can't do that. Not in my line of work. I root for whoever I choose. I mean, it could be Florida Atlantic. You've seen me root for TCU. Sometimes it's Oklahoma. Sometimes it's UCLA. Sometimes, Washington or Oregon, Ohio State, even though I'm in Michigan. It all depends on who we need. That's who I root for. So it's the same thing here. I'm rooting for the KC Miami under. I don't root for a team. You can't. I can't be emotional like you. You're emotional. You're Houston. I can't do that. I can't look at the game and I like Houston, so I play Houston. I can't. I didn't play Michigan, and I'm from Michigan, but I thought it was tainted, and I thought the whole playoff was a joke because they didn't have to play Georgia, which they could never have beaten Georgia. Nothing. Root for the green team. Who, the JETSs? I like the JETSs. You didn't grow up with a favorite team? No, I didn't. I've been betting football since I was 6, 7 years old. My dad hated the Lions, and so he taught me to hate the Lions. So I was never a Lions fan. It all depended. I liked the Steelers in the 70s, and I liked Joe Montana and Lawrence Taylor. I love the 80s Miami of Florida teams, or I won a car with the Miami of Florida teams. I had that first game. They were getting 14 points from Nebraska in 84. And I had Miami strong. And they win the fucking game. I couldn't believe they were getting 14 points. That was the worst missed spread I've ever seen. But I won a lot of money on Jimmy Johnson and Miami and Stellenberger. And I won a lot of money on that Florida State-Oklahoma game, the Steelers, and then Joe Montana, and then the Cowboys. See, I find the good team, and I pound them, the good coach. That's why I pissed at Jimmy Johnson, never went back to coaching. I think that was a huge mistake. He should have went back. He's not a fucking analyst. He's a coach, and he's a great coach. Why the fuck do you stop coaching? So he went to Miami, but the problem is with Marino, he doesn't throw the ball like that. He runs the ball. He always did with Emmett, and he did it college. And with Marino, he was stuck. He had to throw the ball, but he wants to pound you, not throw it. So he had trouble there. Anyway, the money is the green teal, exactly. And the Jets. I thought you might be a Michigan State fan. No, I was when that was one of my locks I showed you in the Florida State won the title. I had Michigan State to beat Stanford. I love they were a 7-point dog to Stanford in the Rose Bowl. That was a joke. That was part of mine. I had UCLA over Virginia Tech, Michigan State over Stanford in 13, and I ended it with Florida State -1 to Auburn. But you know, I don't roll like that. Michigan State was very good for a few years, and I was on them. We won a lot of money on them. Now I'm off of them. I don't stay on you. If I'm not making money on you, I'm not on you. So Michigan, I bet them under the first 5 or 6 weeks because it was a joke. The quarterback sucks. They got a good defense, and they run the ball, and they win 35-3. That's their style. We're going to put up 30, and you can and you're Bowling Green. You're going to get. They didn't shut anybody out, but it was like 35-7, and the spread would be 50, and I'd bet them under. And I hit the first 5 or 6 weeks when they played nobody, and it was that was it. I don't think I played them to win a game. I think I had Ohio State against Michigan, and it won. I won that game. I don't know if I bet it over or the Ohio State or under or whatever. Maybe I bet it under. I liked it both ways. Last year I cleaned up on them. I had TCU and like 5 teasers as a lock over Michigan. That was easy. This year I had Alabama, as you know, +7.5. That was a huge lock. And I had them in 5 teasers. And then Washington, they got all the bullshit holding penalties. There's nothing you can do when the refs are against you. Now hopefully Harbaugh leaves, and then we'll see who the next guy in line is. Nothing. He probably got sick of the players shit and figured it was easier to be a pundit and get paid than a coach. Oh, you're talking Jimmy Johnson? He liked the players. He seemed to. Alex, I'm really looking forward to the college playoffs next year. Will be some interesting matchups. Well, somebody will still get screwed because they don't really have the right number. You don't know. This year, you easily could have found 10 teams. Georgia and Oregon, Florida State, Ohio State, Missouri. You could have easily found I was in Oregon in it. You could have easily found that, but they didn't change it, But you did not have the best 4 teams in this year's playoff. What the fuck was Alabama doing there? Alex, good thing is that the best teams won't be left out. If you're number 13, you're not good enough. Someone will always be crying. Well, because the number 13 team, they go by record, first of all. How good is the team by record? Oh, yeah, the New York Giants beat New England when New England was undefeated. The New York Giants had 7 losses. Should they in college, they never would have been in the playoff, but they won. So the problem is they go by record, not schedule. And that's where my argument is. Michigan should never have been in the playoff. They didn't play anybody. And then a team like Oregon and some of the Pac-10 teams and Oklahoma got totally screwed because they played this tough killer schedule. And, they don't get – like Oklahoma beat Texas. No reward. It counts the same as Michigan beating Bowling Green. Well, that's a bunch of horse shit. That's the problem. They just look at the record, and then Florida State does it, and they fuck them. What was that? Georgia, big deal. They lost to Alabama by 3. That was a lay-down game to get Alabama in the playoff, only they got fucked because they didn't get in. They should have got in. Oregon should have been in. They were a lot better than Washington. They just got matched up bad against them. Oregon would kill people. And I don't like that you don't think Oregon's got a good defense. If you look at the offenses in the Pac-10 and what they did with the 16 defense, you're out of your mind. I mean, you don't know what you're talking about. Oregon's defense was incredible. Go ask Prime how 44-6 how good their defense was. Oregon's defense scared the hell out of me because I wouldn't bet over on Oregon games like I would Washington or USC or something. But don't fuck around like that. It's like the Big 12 defense. Texas's defense was so much better than Michigan's. They had to play Oklahoma, Oak State, Kansas State. They're playing teams that score 40 points a game, and they had the defense was like an 18 or something. I mean, Michigan's playing teams with no offense. Half the Big Ten didn't average 20 points a game. Nebraska couldn't score on Maryland. I mean, at what point? So you're disregarding the whole schedule part of it, and you're just look at Michigan's defense against nobody. They played a bunch of high school teams. To quote Bobby, if Bobby played all the pitchers with ERAs in the tens, and then John played all the pitchers with ERAs in the twos. Look at Bobby's batting average. Yeah, he's the pitchers he's facing are all 10 ERAs. Of course he's going to hit better. And John is going to his average is going to be way down because he's facing Nolan Ryan every fucking day. You've got to look at what's going on. You can't be blind and just take a number and say, "Oh, that's it." That's why I make the big money, folks, is because that's what you do. You've got to drill down and look at it. Hey, Bobby Bo, happy you're here. How's everything doing? Just going through football. Oh, so for you, Bobby Bo, the first 10 minutes of class, I went through the Ponzi scheme of the banks, where the banks have to print money to pay your interest. It's a Ponzi scheme. So if these friends of yours want their money in the bank, show them the first 10 minutes, please. And then they won't bother you about buying gold and keeping their money in the bank because the banks make Madoff look like a high school kid, right? I mean, what Madoff did versus what the banks do, JP Morgan, don't even worry about gold, but all the Ponzi schemes that they do, if you trust the bank, you're out of your fucking mind. Nothing. I weighted schedule would be nice. Well, how else are you going to get at a true thing? In the pros, what they do is they look at each division. So Detroit wins the division, even though they played nobody. The best team they played was Dallas. They lost. Again, the coach fucked them. I was telling you the story of in the car, and the coach. They asked it was the Detroit radio, which is the worst. And they asked the coach, "Do you think Sean McVay is better than whatchamacallit? Campbell?" Well, I don't know. Campbell's pretty good. I think they're even. And and I'm like, what has Campbell done? He hasn't won a playoff game. McVay went to 2 Super Bowls and won 1. He noticed the problem was Goff. He got rid of Goff for Stafford. He wins the Super Bowl. Goff's a joke. Goff will choke Sunday or whenever the hell they play. He is such a better coach. Now, if Campbell wins the Super Bowl this year, next year, okay. Now we'll say Campbell's good. At this point, McVay's up here and Campbell's down here. It's not even close. What has Campbell done but go for 4th down a lot and not kick an extra point and cost his team a game? They haven't played anybody. They played Baltimore as the only playoff team besides Dallas, and they got killed. They lost to the fucking Bears. They lost to the Packers. They lost to Seattle, 3 non-playoff teams. And, they beat a bunch of nobody. They beat Carolina and the Giants, and, they didn't beat anybody. Again, it's like Michigan. They didn't beat anybody, but you're giving them credit. And poor Philadelphia, if you look at their 6-game stretch, Jesus fucking Christ. Dallas, Kansas City, Buffalo, Frisco, Dallas again, and Seattle. And I think there's a Miami thrown in there somewhere. How the fuck are they supposed? Are you kidding me? And they must have just got depleted and just burnt out with that schedule. So that's why I'm saying don't count them out yet. I mean, they beat some good teams, so I wouldn't count Philly out. We'll see. Yeah, they look pretty bad, but they didn't need to win Sunday. Dallas was winning, so they rested their players. They weren't going to be the 5 seed. Now, it would have been interesting if Dallas was losing. how they would have played, but you can't go by that. Oregon almost lost to Texas Tech. See, you're trying to make a case for Oregon that you can't make, but they didn't lose to Texas Tech. And they did kill USC, and they did kill everybody else on their schedule. Washington, they should have beat Washington, but the coach went for it on fourth down, which we get. But they played Washington right even. They had a great defense, and Bo Nix was incredible, just as good as Penix, and they had a good running back. They would have matched up a lot better against Michigan because they have a killer defense. Michigan wouldn't have been able to run, and Michigan would never have been able to stop Bo Nix and the big running back. Oregon was a much tougher team for Michigan than Washington, and they never would have beat Georgia because Georgia, they'd have ran and they would have gotten 10 yards rushing for the game. That's it. They would not have run on Georgia. And Georgia can throw the ball, and Brock Bowers. It would have been low scoring, but Georgia would have beat it. Michigan wouldn't have scored in the game. They had very little scoring because it was up to J.J. McCarthy against Georgia. They wouldn't have gotten past midfield too often. So I don't want to hear that. Oregon almost lost to Texas Tech. Oklahoma beat Texas. What does that mean? I mean, I thought Oak State was the best team. They had Ollie Gordon. You can do that, but it doesn't really make any sense to me. Nothing. Put stars or points or poop emojis on it, whatever. I think you reward a good win in college, right? Oklahoma beats Texas is worth a lot more than Texas beating Texas Tech, let's say. But they count the same. But Oklahoma should have gotten 10 points for beating them. Michigan wouldn't have gotten any points because the best team they beat was Ohio State, who was really lousy this year. So maybe they get 2 points for that. When you add up the points, and then Georgia beat Missouri and Tennessee and Florida. Okay, they lost by a field goal to Alabama. Okay, Alabama lost to Texas. Oh, wait, Alabama barely beat, Ole Miss or whoever. I mean, it doesn't matter, barely beat. You don't have to win every game 52-0 to show how strong you are. That Bobby Bo. Yeah, that reminds me, I got a bank question. Go ahead, Bobby Bo. I never knew that there's a $12 fee on checking accounts if you go below a certain amount. It depends on the checking account, Bobby Bo. I was considering taking everything in for a particular bank account of mine, but didn't want to close it. I don't care about the $12, but still, right, it's still, you don't like it. You need to ask the bank manager, is there fees for this? There'll be no fee checking account, and then there'll be this limit check account. So you need to ask them, what do you have? And you need to say, look, I just want to keep it open. I don't want to. That's what I did when I went to Alabama, because all my money was going into an Alabama account, because how could I get my money out of a Michigan account when I'm in Alabama? So I would transfer money from Michigan to Alabama, but the bank I had was not in Alabama. So I kept a very small balance, but I asked them so I wouldn't get charged. But yeah, you got to be careful with that because the banks make Madoff look like a Boy Scout. Bobby Bo, so I wanted to ask you, as I recall, you saying that you took more your cash out, your checking, and only make occasional deposits for rent. Well, when I know my rent's due, I keep a lot in the checking, and I use the checking to pay rent, and I use the checking to collect my Social Security or my paychecks. And when I go to the grocery store, I use my debit card, which is attached to the checking account. I don't really keep a lot in savings. What do I want? There's no interest rate, and I don't want my money in the bank. So for an example, I had to drive Alyssa somewhere. And she said, well, can I borrow some money? And I says, I don't have any. You don't have any money in the bank? I go, no, I got money for rent and food, and that's it. I don't keep money in the bank. I keep money in my safe, which took her a while to acknowledge. And she says, well, let's go to the ATM. I says, I don't have any money and I'm not going to the ATM because then I got to go to my safe and drive to the bank to put the $100 back in. It ain't going to happen. And she gave me wouldn't you do it for me? And I stoicked her and I said, no, I'm not doing it for you. The only one I'd do it for is Daria. But even then, she would know. She'd be smart enough to know I don't have money in the bank. So I told her my money's at home. If you want some money, I can give you. It's in the safe. And I don't think she got it at first, and I think she did, but I'm not running to the bank to get an ATM. What the fuck do I want to do that for? So no, I don't. I don't do that. But so everything runs out of my checking account, all my ATM, all my bills. Most of my bills come out of the. I use the not the ATM, but the debit card. So most of my bills come right through the debit card. I just paid electric. The debit card's hooked into it. Some of the PayPal goes to the checking account. If I pay PayPal to Daria, it comes out of the checking, and I use Rio for Jenna because she can't take PayPal in the Ukraine. So we found Rio. So if you ever need international, ask me, RIA, and you can send money to most of Europe if PayPal is not working. Like they don't have PayPal at all in the Ukraine. They do in Russia, but you can't because of the sanctions. Even though there's banks that take US dollars. So if I was there, which I can't be because they can't fly in, if I was there, I could go to a bank and give $100 and they'd give me whatever in rubles. So she can get that, but basically you can't use the Western Union, the PayPal, the RIA, any of that stuff you can't use in Russia. So I hope that answered your question, Bobby Bo. But yeah, it's there. And then you just keep score. Okay, how much do I need? Okay, that's in there. And then the rest, I go to the gold store. So I showed you the gold yesterday, didn't I, Bobby Bo? I had 2 10th ounces I got, $234 a piece. Those $470 I put it on my credit card. I don't give a fuck because I probably won't be paying it back because there won't be cash soon, and then you won't have to. Alex, I agree on Georgia. I think Georgia would have won yeah, and they kind of got screwed because they lost to Alabama by 3. Oh, they're not a good team. Fuck. Did you watch the Missouri and the Tennessee and the Florida games, Kentucky? I mean, they killed everybody. So it was that's the problem where they should have had 10 teams. Florida State, Michigan would have had big trouble with Florida State if Travis played. Without him, Michigan wouldn't have scored. Again, against Florida State's defense, Michigan wouldn't have got 50 yards rushing. See, they got lucky that all the really strong rushing defenses they avoided. So they get Alabama, who's okay, and then Washington. That was a horrible matchup for Washington, but that's okay. Bobby Bo, yeah, all the plays, FF teams should have lost the F, not for one player call. For instance, Houston had Texas beat, but the refs saved them with a horrible call. Bama almost lost to Auburn. Bama did lose to Auburn. That was offensive pass interference. If you watched the last play of the game, the guy clearly shoves the Auburn receiver down. He's in the end zone. He catches the ball. I mean, that was so obvious offensive pass interference. But they wanted Alabama in the SEC championship game, which I think they would have been. And then in the LSU game where the guy knocks out Daniels, that was bullshit. He should have been thrown out of the game, should have been a 15-yard penalty. Hit him in the jaw, knocked him out. Otherwise, LSU could have won that game, and you wouldn't be talking to Alabama. So it was all for Nick Saban because it's his last year and all the fucking cheating they do for him. And with all that, the banks are 100 times worse. Yeah, Georgia was most dominant at their outright loss to Bama. But by the way, still can't believe Saban's retiring. Well, he's like 75 years old. I don't think he likes all this. I think the real reason is he doesn't like all this portal shit. Now he's got to recruit, and he loses half his team because they all go somewhere else. Now, my point is this transfer portal, they're seriously paying these guys like $1 million. Wait a minute, this is not professional. This is amateur. These are amateur players. They can't be making money. And if they are, then it's professional. So my problem is I hear the Michigan quarterback makes like $1 million to stay at Michigan. I'm like, who's paying him that? If it's coming out of my taxes, fuck him. The second thing is, so the NFL is just going to sit back and allow the competition. The NFL merged with the AFL to keep the monopoly going, so there wouldn't be competition. Now you got guys staying in college making JJ McCarthy staying there making $1 million. Why would he go? He can't do that in the pros. So are they paying the whole team? Like all 50, 60 players, are they all getting $1 million a year? This is fucking, where's that money coming from? Something's wrong here, but it's not amateur. And now the NFL is going to have a big problem going, wait a minute now. Now we got to come up with more money than college to get these guys. That's never going to work. Yeah, exactly, Bobby. Georgia, if Michigan doesn't play Georgia, then they're not the national champs. I can get no fee if I have direct deposit, but I don't work a W-2 job, and I only avoid the fees since I've had a pretty big balance. Well, what's your minimum balance? Now, the beauty of it is, how much gold do I need to put in your account to avoid it? I can give you a half ounce. Would that do it? So what is the bottom line for her that you need to keep in there? And or I would then ask for a different account. What do you have that you don't charge me? I know there's banks that have accounts. They don't like mine. So I would take your money out of that bank and go find another bank that will not charge you this $12 bullshit fee because you have a low balance. Why are they charging you $12? Oh, I guess they got to pay off their 5% CDs that they are now offering. She was vampiring me, the professor, to go to the ATM. Yeah, tell her to fuck off. I agree. Florida State would have beaten Michigan. Yeah, well, any team with that type of running defense, Michigan could not throw the ball, and they just got lucky. And even in the Washington game, they got lucky. Like in the beginning, the 2 touchdowns were very lucky. And then they got the interception. They didn't call pass interference. The 2 holding penalties. It was just a big fucking joke. If we had playoffs this year, here wouldn't been the first round matchups. God, you're starting to sound like Bobby. Florida State versus Oklahoma, Georgia versus Ole Miss, Ohio State, Oregon, Missouri. I don't know I don't know where you're getting that from. Bobby Bowe, yeah, JJ McCartney won't get paid more than a few $1,000 in the NFL. Who would take? Well, I mean, first I would say who would take him, but wait a minute. There's Browning on Cincinnati and Mullins on Minnesota and Fields and Love. So, yeah, I guess he would make it as bad as these guys are. All right, let me go through a few more weathers. So, Miami, Casey, Mozart, Hill, and Waddle all have ankle injuries. But the kicker is, we know Tag's going to choke. It's a playoff game against a good team. But the kicker is 4 degrees outside and 17-mile-an-hour winds. Miami's fucked. You're going to have Miami guys playing 4-degree weather. And let's kick it off with a 17-mile-an-hour wind. This game will be 10-7. I mean, this is such the under. It's ridiculous. Miami, KC doesn't score a lot anyway. Miami has no defense. They now have no offense. KC's not going to light it up in this cold weather. So it's got to be like a 10-3 game. Pitt and Buffalo, we got Pitt pretty healthy. Najee Harris is questionable, but I don't care about that. Buffalo, Josh Allen, Cook, Diggs. Gabe Davis is now questionable. 23 degrees and 30-mile-an-hour winds. What do I tell you? When the winds are 30 miles an hour, you're not getting 10 points in the game. This is also another low-scoring, and you got two very good defenses. So this game won't get to 20 either. These outdoor games are very cold. Green Bay and Dallas. Dallas is healthy. CD Lamb. Pollard sucks. Gallup sucks. Ferguson sucks. The more I watch them, the more I realize these guys suck. Prescott's terrible, and their coach is terrible. They'll never they don't ever beat San Francisco. Green Bay, Jordan Love, he's terrible. Aaron Jones questionable. Watson and Dobbs questionable. You think Jordan Love's going to win in Dallas against? Micah Parsons? Really? Okay, you want to do that. My only decision here is, do I want Dallas -1 or do I want over 44? Green Bay tends to score. Their coach is one of these offensive from the McVay school. Dak will light them up. Dallas with a 20 defense and Green Bay with a 24. I think Dallas wins it, and I think it's an over 44 because they'll never stop CeeDee Lamb, and Jordan Love's 3 interceptions easy, but then Dak's going to give you 3 interceptions. So. The Rams in Detroit, it's in a dome, pretty healthy. Both teams. Laporta, the tight end, is questionable. Higbee, their tight end's questionable, but otherwise, Stafford, Williams, Kupp, Puka. And they're going to show you winning a Super Bowl versus a team that's never been in the playoffs before. And then we get Philly, Tampa. We got 68 degrees, 12-mile-an-hour winds. This is at your house, Bobby. Are you having the game in the backyard? Tampa Bay. So you got nice weather, Bobby, 68, 12-mile-an-hour winds. Hurts questionable with a finger. Which hand is it on? Does anybody know? Swift hurt. A.J. Brown hurt. Devontae Smith hurt. Julio Jones, the one who's been hurt for 6 years, is not hurt. Tampa is all healthy. So if all 4 of those guys, and they all will play, I guarantee you. I think you have to go. If they play, this is an over because Philly's defense cannot stop a good high school team. Tampa will find ways to. It'll be like the Arizona game. They'll score, but you can't really stop Philly if they're playing. I mean, if they're all 4 out, I'll take Tampa in the 9. But if all 4 play, I'm going over. It's as simple as that. So if we break the game down. How do you know the matchups of this year? Where's Alabama and Michigan and all those teams? Four buys? Why is there 4 buys? Aaron Jones, if he plays, he hasn't played a full game since the first week of the year. Well, he might have looked fresh, but he got hurt again. So I'm not quite sure what that really means. He keeps getting hurt. Keep in mind, you got Jordan Love as your quarterback. And we know how bad Jordan Love is. Like a John, you think Green Bay has a chance? Absolutely not. He's questionable again. He didn't play the full game against the Bears. So I'm getting Daria figured out. We talked a lot New Year's Eve and New Year's Day. But then she'll like go to work and I got to figure out why, like she doesn't have time to text me. And I know she can't text me at work. So I'll go 3 or 4 days without hearing from her. Like, what the fuck? And she'll say, I'm working. And then when she's not working, we text half the day. So anyway. She ended up getting caviar for New Year's Day. She showed me like, it's like pink caviar. So I was like, oh, we'll have to try it. In Turkey, I guess. All right. So from the beginning, Cleveland 2-44, Flacco against Stroud. Flacco 13-8, Stroud 23-5. That's touchdowns, interceptions. Cleveland with the 25 defense. They're actually an over team. Houston's an even team. They scored 22, give up 22. Over under 44. Cleveland, I was watching the Cleveland-Houston game from a few weeks ago. Cleveland just killed them. Houston has no secondary. They're making Flacco look like Joe Montana. So I can't take Houston in 8. I don't know if I trust Cleveland +4, but I do like the over. Because I'm looking at the scores, and Houston's scoring in the 20s, and Cleveland's beating good teams in the 20s and 30s. So I think this is a high-scoring game. Again, Stroud 23-5. Now, Stroud did not play in that first Cleveland-Houston game. It was whatchamacallit. The guy from Houston. Anyway, he's not bad, the guy from Houston. University of Houston. So we'll see. And then we'll see how Stroud is against a good team in a playoff game. This is where I separate myself. This is when you need him to play, not against Carolina and Tampa. And by the way, he didn't play well against Carolina. So that's really what you're looking at. Flacco won a Super Bowl 100 years ago. Cleveland, they got Myles Garrett. Houston's got nobody. Rico, whatever the coach's name is. Oh, boy. I was Tom Brady's quarterback coach, too. Look at me. Yeah, sure you were. So I don't know how good the coach. I'm not impressed by him. Just like Dan Campbell, I'm not impressed by him. It's just the level of competition they're playing. I think this is a good over bet, Cleveland-Houston. I wouldn't trust Houston in 8. Hard to play a road favorite in Cleveland with Flacco, although Amari Cooper looked good. They couldn't cover Amari Cooper. Like, what was that about? So Houston, they don't have a secondary, and they're not going to stay in the game. Jordan Love is okay. Some good and bad wins. Oh, Jordan Love sucks. Oh, he's not that bad. Okay. Yeah, he sucks. Nothing. Aaron Rodgers banned off ESPN. Absolute legend. Good for Aaron. He doesn't need ESPN. He's just do his own little show. We'll have him on as guest here. He can tell us how much he hates the Lions, too. That'd be nice. Jordan Love is okay. Some good, some bad. He's not okay. He can't read a blitz. And yes, he's very inconsistent. He's not going to beat Dallas. Micah Parsons will be all over him. Just read that Green Bay is limiting Jones in practice on purpose so he won't get it. Well, maybe they should limit him in the games because he might get hurt. I agree with over in Cleveland, Houston. I do like Houston. Took them in a 2. While you're being emotional about it. I'm not. There's no way they can cover. And Myles Garrett with the lead is going to be all over Stroud. And we saw Stroud twice against Michigan. Doesn't show up in the big games. Bobby, yeah, we can have Rogers on here and he can talk about medals. But there you go, Bobby. And he can bring his friends on and we'll get them all set up. And then maybe he can give you some pointers on how to not pay the checking account for $12. All right. So high scoring game, Cleveland, Houston. Miami, KC, I just told you. Miami with their 4 starters out. We will see if they're going to. They're all questionable, which means they're in big trouble. I know I saw Tyreek Hill limp off the field 5 or 6 times on Sunday. Waddle I saw get hurt 2-3 weeks ago. He ain't doing shit. You get these guys, and Bobby, you can attest to that. In the cold weather, you hurt your ankle, you're fucked. You're not coming in again. If when you had to play in cold weather baseball games, you weren't moving. I guarantee that. I played in cold weather games, and you're just cold. You're not. Your muscles are sore, and you're not loose. So Tyreek Hill, he sprains his ankle here. He ain't coming back in, and he's already got bad ankles, as does Waddle. They don't really need Mozart because they have Acne, the NM guy, but we know how Tug is in a big game. How many interceptions should we bet on? Over 5 against this killer KC defense? Now we know Mahomes, terrible. So let's look at that. We got Miami and over team, 25 defense. We got KC and under team with a 21 defense. Very strong defense. We've been betting them under and winning all year long, especially the Denver game. Neither team got the 20 in that one. Tag against Mahomes. Tag 29-14. Mahomes 27-14, somehow without receivers. Kelsey's got a hurt neck, but I'm sure he'll play. They don't got nothing. Pacheco. So Pacheco's going to get the ball 100 times. You got 4 degrees and 19 miles per hour wind. Good fucking luck throwing the ball. This is the problem with Miami's coach. He's an idiot. He's created a team that's a pass team. Only this is the playoffs. You could go to Green Bay. You could go to, cold weather, Kansas City, Denver. What are you going to do in Denver if it snows? Okay, San Diego, you're okay. And Oakland, you got these dome stadiums. But here's a perfect – what's he going to do in Buffalo, right? You got to play Buffalo once a year. You're not always going to get them early in September. And what are you going to do then? So this is the problem with this Miami coach. He's a fucking moron. He doesn't have – you need a good defense. He hasn't figured that out yet. They're still trying to play strong offense. You don't with offense. Go ask Dan Marino and Dan Fouts how many Super Bowls they won. This will be like 13-3 Kansas City because Miami's not scoring in this game. KC's got a really killer defense, probably the best in the league, right up there with Baltimore's. Spagnuolo really got it cooking, so don't look for Miami to do much. Tag will get hurt, he'll cry, and they'll take him off the field with the concussion. I bet he has a concussion before the end of the first half. Hill won't finish, and then there'll be, in Kansas City, he'll score enough, maybe 20-3 or something like that. Pitt and Buffalo. Pitt's an under team with an 18 defense. Now, we don't have J.J. Watt. Over-under went from 40 to 37. I think it's even 36. Buffalo's the A team with the 20 defense. At home, you got 25 degrees and 30-mile-an-hour winds right off the lake. You cannot throw the ball in 30-mile-an-hour winds. End of case. Which means that Pitt's going to run the ball and play their defense, and Buffalo's going to have Allen run the ball. He's not going to be able to throw very short passes. This is going to be an Army-Navy game, and we know what we do in Army-Navy games. We go under. Even if Pitt wanted to, Rudolph, now you're in a playoff game. He's got 3 touchdowns and no picks, and Josh Allen's 29-18, throwing interceptions 2 of which I thought I was watching Super Bowl III last week. What was that? He throws the ball. He just lobs it in the end zone, and there's nobody there but the Miami guy. You fucked my over because you decided to throw 2 of the worst passes I've ever seen. I mean, he just lobbed it up, and they were picked off. There was nobody there. So I don't know if I got Earl Morrall or Josh Allen on Sunday. But either way, I do like the game. Very strong under. Again, this will be 13-3. I mean, where are you going to get points? All right. I wonder what this was. Green Bay and Dallas. Jordan Love's first playoff game. Good luck. Green Bay, an even team with a 24 defense. Dallas, the 8 team with a 20 defense. Dallas is strong at home against weak teams, although they got lucky to play Philly after the massacre at San Francisco. Prescott, we know he's good for 3 picks. He's 36-9. Love is 32-11. Dallas is 14-1 as a home favorite in a teaser. And Green Bay 6-0 as a road dog this year. They've been a road dog a lot this year. Again, they're an E team, 24 defense against an A with a 20. We got Micah Parsons, best player on the field, and CD Lamb, the second best player on the field. Over under a 50. I love the over in this game. Dallas should light it up Green Bay. And then Dak's going to throw us a couple interceptions that hopefully get pick 6 down it. So what do I trust? I trust a high-scoring game over. I trust Dallas being able to win, although they should win. I kind of like Dallas -1 also, and over 44 is 24-20 is a joke. Bay, not the best defense, but they can score. The coach will get something, and Dallas will be Dallas. I mean, even Washington got 10 on them. Detroit got 20 on them if they kicked the extra point. So, I mean, they played Detroit to a 20-20. They played them to a 40. So this should definitely be at least that. Green Bay does not have the defense to really do it. And I've seen they score 25-30 in a lot of games. So Green Bay can score on them, but Love is not going to win in this game. You're not going on the road in the playoffs in your first game and win it. It's not going to happen. Not against a team like Dallas. They could maybe beat Detroit. Detroit got lucky they didn't have to play them. They wouldn't beat them. The Rams, Detroit 3-51. This is your free play. Go over in this game. It'll be high scoring. The Rams, an even team with a 22 defense. Detroit's an over team with a 27 defense. Their secondary sucks. 200 yards to Jefferson, then 200 yards to CD Lamb, then 200 more yards to Jefferson. Only the thing is, with Jefferson, it was with Nick Mullins. Dallas was with Prescott. So, I mean, they're giving up 200 yards to receivers. Oh, yeah, and the Rams have Cooper Kupp and Pukanuka and this great running back and Stafford, who wants to throw poison in their hearts. The Rams win this game probably by 14 points or so, but it'll be high scoring. Detroit can score. The injury really won't hurt them too much. Stafford, 24-11, touchdowns to picks. Golf, 30-12. So they will score some with St. Brown. Their problem is the defense, and you've got to play the better defense in a playoff game. Aaron Donald, best player on the field, against whom? Oh, Hutchinson? Really? Hutchinson disappears a lot. Aaron Donald doesn't. Stafford over Goff by a mile. McVay over Campbell by 2 miles. The running back's better. Williams, just a better team all the way around. So I think the Rams win quite comfortably. You're getting 9 in the Rams. I think that's a joke. I think the over 45, that's a joke. This will be a 30-point type of game, maybe 34-30, 34-27 Rams. So this will be a 60-point game. We need 45. That I'm sure of. The the Rams should win. Getting 9, that is a joke. So either or, go for it. And Philly, 3-44. Philly's the over team. They score 30, give up 28. Tampa is an under team. How the hell they beat Carolina 9-0? Must-win game to get in the playoffs. You got the worst team that couldn't win a game in the SEC, and you beat them 9-0. Unbelievable. Green Bay 28 defense, Tampa 23. Again, it's 3-44. Hurts against Mayfield. Hurts with the hurt finger. I don't know which hand. 23 touchdowns, 15 picks, which is Hurts' problem. He likes to run too much. Mayfield 28-10. A huge trend on Tampa as either a home favorite or play against Philly. We got 70 degrees, 14-mile-an-hour winds. So the other games, Miami, KC, and Pitt, Buffalo, are going to be cold and windy under games. This one, if I get my Philly players back, this is a very strong overplay, and I'll probably play it with the over in Cleveland, Houston. If I don't get them, I got to take Tampa 9. Do I think Tampa 9 wins? I don't. I think it'll be just like the Arizona game. And you got Matt Patricia as your defensive coordinator, so I don't think Tampa really will get stopped much by this defense. This defense is terrible. See how it works there. So if Michigan played Philly, they would do well. But if they played Kansas City, they'd get shut out. So it really matters who the matchup is. And in this case, as bad as Mayfield is and as terrible as their coach is, they should be able to score something on this Philly team, even though they got 9 on Carolina. What the fuck was going on there? There must have been a lot of like 4th down stops or penalties, and then missed field goals. How many missed field goals can you get in a game? Philly, we know they should. If they're healthy, they will score and give up. Easy over. Now, my question is, why is Philly favored? If these 4 guys are out, Swift and Brown and Smith and Hurts, if they're all questionable, why is Philly a 3-point favorite? Now, will they all be out? I would say they're all playing. This is a playoff game. Now, you've got to understand Philly. They beat Dallas, Kansas City, Buffalo. They ran into the Niners and Dallas. So look at that 5-game stretch. I mean, Jesus Christ. So we know they're capable of beating a Kansas City and a Buffalo and a Dallas. So they're capable of beating Tampa Bay very easily. I know they lost big play Slay, cornerback from the Lions, who the Lions wouldn't sign, so he went to Philadelphia. That's the Lions' MO. Oh, we got a good player. Oh, well, we can't pay him. We're going to have to let him go. So Goff will be gone next year or whenever his contract ends. So we have to wait till, but this is actually a Monday night game. We're going to have to wait till Monday, but it fucks up our teaser because we need a team to play it with. Although we can play it with next week. This will be very it's all based on the injuries. If all the Philly players play, this is a very strong overplay. If they don't, it's a very strong Tampa Bay play. And we hope they score more than 9 points in it. What do we got going on here? Yeah, we can have Rodgers on here. Okay, Bobby, I'm rooting for Houston to pull the win, but we'll stay away. Just bet it over, Bobby. Nothing. Aaron Rodgers comes on and talks TK into taking DMT. What is DMT? I don't know what DMT is. Alex, I will enjoy when Stroud in Houston proves you're wrong. Alex, stop that, or I'm going to mute you. Enough of that shit. I don't like it. I don't appreciate it. That's not the point of this, right? So if you're going to say I'm wrong, you won't say anything. Okay? So button that up right now. Greg and John, KCD is going to shut them down. Yeah, they should. Playing baseball when it snow flurries is a weird one. Oh, Bobby's played in that. I agree, Jen. Yeah. When it's that cold, the football is difficult to throw and catch. It gets really hard. Okay. Belichick might go to Atlanta Falcons, didn't he? Oh, well, yeah. Well, I was going to say Nick Saban already coached there and quit. I don't know that he would. He needs a quarterback and he needs a defense. I don't know if he'll go there. I mean, it's the same as New England, I think. Yeah, Greg. Bobby Ball. That's another game where I can't trust either team with Philly garbage defense and Tampa garbage. Well, that's why you've got to we got to see if the Philly players play. Then that's why I play totals. Like you're questioning, why do I play total? That's why I can't really pick the winner. Both teams are so bad that you've got to do that. So, yeah, it's an over if Philly's players play. Tampa Bay will score on that defense. Christ, it's terrible. What Philly team is showing up? Well, we'll see with the injuries. If they are playing, they will score a lot and give up a lot. It'll be just like the Arizona game. DMT is a drug. Okay, so what are you saying here? Aaron Rodgers comes on and talks TK and the taking. I don't do drugs. Professor won't engage in that stuff. Nope. I don't do drugs. I don't need to. I fast. And it fucks your brain up. So I don't do anything that fucks your brain up. It's a hallucinant. Yeah, okay. Again, I have that'll never happen. Just like I will never open my Canadian Club 12 year that our one Canadian friend wants me to open so badly. So go buy it in your Canadian liquor store if they have it and go drink it. I mean, don't tell me what to do because that ain't going to happen. I do not do what other people tell me. That's the one thing. But that's the only way you can bet football and gold and everything else is if you got to ignore other people because if you listen to them, you'll never do anything. It's hard because I am contrarian. Gold, I figure it out, and then I say buy gold. And everybody, oh, no, I got oil stocks and this. If I did that, I would never buy gold. And we'd miss out on the big gold run here. Same here, Professor. I don't do any drugs, although I should have done steroids, and my card would be your card would be worthless. I mean, this Barry card, now this is Barry, right? And it's the 100 count, right? And I bet it doesn't have a value. I bet it's worth $200-$300 where it should be worth a couple thousand. But McGuire, I don't know why Clemens, he's crushed, and Sosa, all those guys. It's only baseball, and it's only those 6 or 7 guys. But nobody wants Barry Bonds' card because he did steroids. I don't even understand. I don't get it. It's just bullshit, right? So those cards, my McGuires and my Barrys and my Roger Clemens, I'm fucked with. But that's okay. Nope, not a drinker. So that's what we look in the playoffs. So most of these we've got. I'm waiting on an injury on Philadelphia, their guys. And that's about it. Maybe Aaron Jones on Green Bay, but I'm sure he'll play. TJ Watt's out, we know. Miami's got their receivers out, but we want them out because we're betting the under. In Cleveland, Houston, they don't have any players that you even know about. So Cleveland's already got their Deshaun Watson. Flacco's better than Deshaun Watson. What's wrong with that? Thompson Robinson's out. They're both on injured list. And Chubb's out. And they're playing fun. This is what you can't figure out is Cleveland. I mean, they lost Chubb, they lost Hunt, they lost, I don't know, Amari Cooper, who was nothing. All of a sudden, he's a superstar because Flacco's there. I don't get it, but that's why I can't really play Cleveland. I don't know who the hell they are, uh, because you got Flacco. He's played what, 4 games, 13-8. I don't trust him, and I never trusted him when he played. And Stroud, I don't trust because of the Michigan games where he choked. Not once, but twice. I can't bet a guy that lost to Michigan. That's just ridiculous. Anyway, so this will be interesting when the NFL sues college, because college is not professional and they cannot start paying their players and really competing. I thought it was a little bit, from what I understood, NIL is, you want to go buy a Tom Brady t-shirt or jersey and you pay $30 and he gets $3 of it or something. That was my understanding of what this money is, so they can get paid for the marketing. Not that you pay the players $1 million to play. This guy from Michigan's getting $1 million for what? This guy sucks, but you're paying him $1 million. And Ward from Washington State, apparently he's getting offered $1 million to transfer to whoever. What, are you kidding me? This is absolutely not ethical at all. This is not professional sports. This is college. This is amateur. And unless you change it, and I don't recall it being changed to professional, the NFL is not going to take this. Wait a minute, you're competing with me? No. It doesn't work that way. Now they're pulling a Madoff. The players got to pay taxes on this money. This guy made $1 million. You better go to your tax guy. And then what do they do with, did they pay taxes on their free education, right? So you're coming to Michigan, you get classes for free and you get a dorm for free and the food for free. Did they pay tax on it? Probably not. But now, if you're making $1 million, you damn right you're going to pay. I wouldn't even offer it to them. Then I'd say, fuck it. You're getting $1 million. You don't get room and board. You don't get food. You get nothing. You don't get books. And by the way, you better keep your 2.5 grade point average up, or we're going to null and void your contract. Sad part is that no one in baseball is as good or has the name of a Barry Bonds, Rodriguez, or Clemens. Rodriguez, I don't think was a steroid. Was he a steroid guy? I don't remember. But, well, why is Pete Rose not in the Hall of Fame? I mean, seriously, the guy got 4,400 hits. Nobody even gets 3,000. But how do you not have the best hitter, the best pure hitter, 4,000 hits, not in the Hall of Fame? What's the point of the Hall of Fame? See, you're crossing over. Hall of Fame is, these are our best players. And if you don't have Barry in there and you don't have, I was going to say Montana. If you don't have Barry in there and you don't have Pete Rose in there, then what's the point of the Hall of Fame? And the NFL Hall of Fame is getting worse and worse. I mean, these guys, Michael Irvin's, and like he was a Hall of Famer. Give me a break. So it's getting really bad. Bobby Bowe, Rafi Palmeiro had some great years on the juice. Yep. He batted right before me. He was third. Bobby's always cleanup. I like that, Bobby. He got great pitches because they saw me on. Yeah, they wanted to lay the people's elbow on him because they know you could take the people's elbow. Yeah, A-Rod was caught too, but didn't not admit to it until later in his career. Yeah, I don't. The part that troubles me, Bobby, is it wasn't illegal. It wasn't illegal in public, and it wasn't illegal for the baseball. So you did something that was legal, a healer. So what's the difference between that and football when they give the guy vitamin B and they give him the shot before the game? How is that different than steroids? So I'm watching North Dallas 40, my favorite football movie, and they're in there before the game and he's shooting the knee up with whatever, hard drugs. How is that different than steroids? I don't really understand that. So why didn't Mark McGwire just take a shot of this B12 or this what are the heavy drugs instead of the steroids? So it's not that it was drugs; it was this type of drug instead of that type of drug. I mean, that's what's so bullshit about it. So that's really all it is, right? He took cream steroids from Jose Canseco, the idiot, and they could have taken a shot of morphine, and that would have been okay, but not the steroid, but the shot would have been fine. I mean, what's wrong with that pitcher? You're not supposed to be. You're baseball players. You're not. You're not running for the church for priests or whatever. Let's see, where are we? Yeah, it's all BS. Well, everything's BS. All the bankers not going to jail for 2008 when they fixed everything, and they see it all worked. They bought all the contracts, and then they sent it out to Attack on Wall Street guys. And when the people stopped paying their mortgages, they would pay J.P. Morgan, for example. And then J.P. Morgan would get it and pay Attack on Wall Street guy. So what happened is they stopped paying because they couldn't afford the mortgages. So J.P. Morgan fucked everybody and dumped all the mortgages and said, Attack on Wall Street guy, you're worth zero. Nobody went to jail. Of all these executives who fucked everybody over, nobody went to jail. Nobody got convicted. Nothing. It's unbelievable. It's like you're like, oh yeah, boy, I forgot the banks run the government, so of course they're not going to prosecute themselves. That's why I keep saying the biggest Ponzi scheme on my title is the banks. The banks print the money and make the gold. J.P. Morgan keeps the gold price down and everything else. And that other one on HSBC, Hong Kong, Shanghai Bank in China and in London, they do all the money laundering for the mafia. So I'm beginning to think the mafia runs the banks that run the government. You can't prosecute them. The judges are on the payroll, so they won't. You're going to jail. That's why you never see it. And what do? They say you pay a fine. Talk about a Ponzi scheme. Well, that's what Madoff did, right? Every time that idiot would go and run to the SEC's laughing, going, we're not prosecuting this guy. This guy could come up with pictures of Madoff, taking the money and throwing it and throwing it in his bed and rolling over. We're not going to prosecute him. And that's what the banks are doing. They're all mafia run, especially this HSBC. It's in China. Believe me, the Chinese mafia is running it, and the Russian mafia is holding their hands. And give them credit for buying gold, going, well, we know this is collapsing because we're running it into the ground on purpose. We'll buy the gold, and then the gold's going to blow, and we'll blow the gold up, and that's what they're going to do very soon. Bobby, it's a shame Mike Trout can be standing behind you in the supermarket. You wouldn't even know who he is. Yeah, I could see him at Target, and I would walk right by. But I'll give you this, Bobby. If I did know who it is, I wouldn't say hi to him. I'd say hi to you. I'd say hi to Barry. I'd say hi to Pete Rose. I wouldn't say hi to Mike Trout. And I certainly wouldn't say hi to this idiot Chikani Okana or whatever. What the fuck is that? I'm going to play outfield and pitch. Dude, take your choice. One position. Either you pitch or you play outfield. I don't get this guy playing two positions. I think it's the stupidest thing in the world. And LA paid him like $60 million as if it's two different people. They need their heads examined. I thought Magic Johnson was running that team. What the hell? I wouldn't even take the guy. Look how good California's been doing with Ohtani. Have they even been 500 yet? So I think that's ridiculous. But Mike Trout, Well, and then most of these guys are South American, don't even like speak English. Like Cabrera on the Tigers, he can't even speak English. He's been here 15 years with the Tigers, and if I saw him at the grocery store, I said hi, he'd talk to me in Spanish, and that's another guy I wouldn't say hi to. I am not impressed with him. He had one good year. In the last 7 or 8 years, he sucked. So I never got that guy either. But that's the problem. You don't have the Berries and the Mazes and the Mantles and the Hank Aaron's and the Sandy Koufaxes and Bob Gibsons. This is the problem with sports. You have to be able to identify to somebody. That's what the whole thing is. Even in movies, John Wayne or Marilyn Brando. I mean, you would go see it for the star. That's the marketing point. And there's nothing to market. There's no stars you want to see. There's no sports figures you want to see. What do I got? Football. There's no game. Maybe Mahomes because KC, but I don't want to watch for Tag. And then Pitt and Buffalo, there's nobody there. And Green Bay, Dallas, maybe Micah Parsons, not Prescott or Love. And the Rams in Detroit, I don't want to see Stafford or Goff. Again, they're going to be in town. If I see Stafford at the grocery store, I ain't saying hi to him. And for certainly, I'm not. If I see Goff, I'm gonna laugh at him for the 5 interceptions against Utah in the Pac-10 championship game. Philly. I'll tell you the one guy I did see at MGM. It's your buddy A-Rod. I'm playing poker Friday night at MGM in downtown Detroit. And who's at the table? Alex Rodriguez. And there was Philly basketball players, but I couldn't recognize him. But he was there with a buddy of his. I don't even know if he was playing or watching. And I was waiting for him to come up to me. I wouldn't go up to him. But, you say, wow, there's Alex Rodriguez at the MGM poker room. But I don't believe he played. But it was kind of neat to see him. I thought he should have come up to me, though. Pujols might go into the Hall of Fame this year. Well, don't they have to wait 5 years? Bobby Bo, maybe Winston, Russell Wilson, and Kyler Murray should convert since they were supposedly very good college baseball players. Yeah, if I was Kyler Murray, I'd be thinking about baseball. Winston, I don't know, but Russell Wilson, I don't know how good he was. How about Mahomes? The Tigers drafted him. His dad was the pitcher on Minnesota. I was going through the cards. I have a Patrick Mahomes Minnesota Twin pitcher card of his father. So I wonder if I have now I got my Mahomes card. If I got the father and the son, I wonder if that's worth anything. There is a Ken Griffey Jr. card that had a little bit of value. Was A-Rod playing blackjack? We're in the poker room. No, it wasn't Derek Jeter. I would have known Derek Jeter. I would have said hi to Derek Jeter, but I wouldn't say hi to A-Rod. But no, he was in the poker room, but I don't remember if he was playing or watching. So I had a good laugh at that one, and I didn't want to say, hey, I'm the professor. You can come over and say hi. I met Mickey Mantle at a baseball card show years ago. Yeah, he used to sign cards. But I don't know. I probably would have peed my pants if I met Mickey Mantle. That's a big one to meet. Did you pee your pants, Craig and John? You must have been like 5 years old because this was in the 70s. So I was about 15 then. But I remember him signing, started to sign cards. He'd make more money in that than he did playing. But no, he's the best. But he was charismatic, right? So that's what you need is somebody that you want to see in the movies and sports. That's the problem we have now. There is nobody. You had Tiger, he's gone. Jack Nicklaus, he's gone. Jimmy Connors, he's gone. There's nobody there. It's all ruined, and you don't want to waste your time on any of it. So that's the problem. They don't even make movies the way they used to. Now everything's on Netflix or Apple or whatever. Uh, I don't know. The last time I went was in Alabama to the movies to watch the Batman movie because I was bored and I wanted to get out. And I remember just sitting in the theater, and I would watch it and get popcorn and go back and watch it again. It was like, fuck it. But I don't mind the Batman movie. Actually, it's a pretty good one. Matter of fact, Jeter was shown at the national championship game the other night in a Michigan sweater. Well, he's from Kalamazoo. He was going to go to Michigan, but the Yankees signed him. He was in a suit with Michael Jordan, Stephen A. Smith, and a few other names. What was Michael Jordan doing at the game? What the fuck does he care about Michigan and Washington? Yeah, it was him and Reggie Jackson at the show. Yeah, Reggie was good. Maybe I should go grab my number 25 Mets jersey out of the closet and help Tuesday League. Well, you should be playing, but I can't believe you're retired. And with as bad as this league is, you'd be an all-star. I mean, that's insane. So yeah, that's the problem. It's just there's nobody you want to watch. There's no game I want to watch. I mean, I like to watch KC, and then they throw these games on Peacock. Are they out of their fucking minds? Do they actually think people are going to join Peacock to watch the Philadelphia Tampa game or whatever game it is, or the LA Detroit, whatever that Peacock game, or is it Saturday? They think people are going to go buy Peacock to watch one game? And then they don't understand they're losing so much audience because most people are like me. I got Roku and I got an antenna and I'll watch everything on 2, 4, and 7, ABC, NBC, Fox. I ain't watching nothing on Apple Prime or on Peacock. Fuck that. I didn't even watch the ESPN game. I can't get ESPN on my thing. So I just watched the highlights and just shook my head going, what's with these offensive holding calls? What are you saying? Everybody is saying how Washington, couldn't complete a pass. He completed 2 30-yard passes called back for holding. What the fuck are you talking about? And he wasn't under pressure. He'd go back and he'd get rid of the ball real quick. Thought I was watching Brady, the little quick 2-step drops, 8, 9, 10-yard passes, boom, boom, boom. They marched down the field. No. Bobby's a 300 hitter. Yeah, but you could play Bobby. I bet the jersey still fits. And now that you fast and you eat healthy, you'd be a star. You wouldn't. You'd probably hit the ball 50 yards farther with the dark chocolate and the cinnamon, and you're drinking the healthy water, and you're fasting. Like, yeah, you'd be dynamite, Bobby. So anyway, so that's football. All we're waiting on is Philadelphia, pretty much. We assume the questionables. I assume all the guys play for Philly, but I ain't watching it on Peacock. Whoever had that idea is a fucking moron. We'll get them to. It's like YouTube. Well, we're gonna shove all these commercials down everybody's throat so they'll buy the package again, trying to force us to buy something we don't want to buy. Just like electric cars. We are the market. And we determine what we buy, not you. That's why this whole globalist bullshit with Bill Gates and Buffet and all these idiots is never going to work because you can't force us to do what we don't want to do. So if you think you're going to be the elitist and we're all going to kiss your ass, you're out of your fucking minds. That ain't going to happen. That's why we have gold. We can tell them to shove it up their ass. But I am not going to do any of this shit for them. So I was happy I got 2/10 of an ounces yesterday. It makes up for what I gave Jenna when I met her. And then I'll give Daria some when I meet her in Turkey. looking forward to that. And anyway, waiting to hear on jobs. I keep getting calls like last Thursday. Oh, well, they're out for the holiday. They'll call you this weekend, okay, or this week, and it's what, Thursday, and I haven't even gotten a we're going to meet with you. So it's just bullshit. And the names of these companies I never heard of. Abracadabra, like what? Never heard of these companies. They're probably all small startups that are just bullshit companies. They gave the NFL $200 million for the game. Yeah, but the NFL is going to lose that in audience and advertising that they don't have. Aren't they getting paid by NBC, ABC, and Fox and ESPN and everything? ESPN shows the game on ABC normally. But I mean, I'm sure they got paid for the Berlin game, right? And I'm in Berlin. I said, "Can I turn on the football?" The guy says, "Nobody cares about it. We watch soccer. Nobody cares about American football." Then what the fuck are they having two games there? What is the point? Who's paying? Germany's paying to have the game there? Why? Then nobody cares about it. Nobody wants it. Nobody goes to it. Why would Germany care about having the game there? Or London, for that matter. Maybe a little bit more, but nobody in Germany cares about American football. Let's put it that way. So it's the same thing here. Now that you mentioned Warren Buffett, I just seen that Charlie Munger died a month ago. Yeah, he died. Now Buffet's exposed like he's an idiot. Oh, no, they're going to know I can't pick. We're shooting for March 1st. We're waiting for her to get her passport. It expired. She had to get it renewed. I should have said get it express. So I'll give you an extra 20, 30 bucks and you'll get it in 2 weeks. But she thought it would be quick with all the Russians going, and she should get it 8 to 10 weeks, I saw. So it should come middle of January. And so then we'll go from there. And so our birthdays are the end of February, beginning of March. So we'll celebrate our birthdays there. And the weather should be nicer at that point. Hopefully the war ends and I can fly to Russia is what I'd like to do, but I don't think I can. I've been watching this movie Siberia with Keanu Reeves and Kenzie Reeves, of course. And he's a diamond smuggler, and he's in St. Pete, and the guy fucks him, and then he's going to Siberia, and FSB gets involved, and he ends up getting shot. And I'm just like, well, that's Russia for you. So I'm looking forward to that. Maybe I'll find the diamonds. Let's see. Where we at? Charlie Munger died. Turkey. Soccer is number one in Europe. In her flight, yeah, she's flying out of St. Pete to Turkey, and I'm flying here. So I probably have a 10-hour flight, and hers probably, I think it's 4 from St. Pete to Turkey. But it's the only country. She can go to Dubai or she can go to Turkey. I'm not going to Dubai. It's too expensive. But Turkey, fine. And so it's like when I meet Jenna, now she can go anywhere in Europe. So we went to Germany, we went to Barcelona, we went to Portugal. But with Daria, she's limited. She can't go to those countries. She's the mean Russian horde, so she can't go anywhere, but Turkey is friendly with Russia. So I got her looking out for the gold price for us, Bobby, because Putin's coming out with it pretty soon because they need the money. And like I was saying yesterday, they're tired of taking the ruble and they want to buy Swiss francs. Well, they can't buy dollars. I don't know what they do to convert their money, but let's say it was like it was. So they take the ruble to buy dollars and take the dollars to buy Swiss francs or to buy euros or to buy yuan. What the fuck? So they're tired of the U.S. getting in the middle, as is most countries, which is what the problem is. So nobody likes that. So Russia's invention, and we'll just have gold. You take the money to buy gold, and the gold will buy the new currency. I don't know why they can't just trade their own. This is why they'll have the BRICS currency. Then I have BRICS currency. I want to go to China. Oh, they have BRICS currency. I can use my BRICS currency in China or Argentina or wherever. And that's what they'll do. And they won't need to get the gold to buy the other currency. So it's kind of ridiculous. But when I go, it doesn't matter because I got the US dollars. Only you don't really understand it because if I want to get whatever currency, I just go to the ATM and give me euros. I don't have to sell my dollar to get US to get the other. So that's the Ponzi scheme by the US. So you have stopover flight from Detroit. Yeah, I'll probably go Detroit to Germany and then Germany to Turkey. It seems like when I go to Europe a lot, it's like I went to Frankfurt or Munich to go to Barcelona. I think I went, I don't remember when I went to, Barcelona is when I met Luke. I went through Philadelphia and then right to Barcelona. So it was like Detroit to Philly, Philly to Barcelona. But when I went to Berlin, it was Detroit to Frankfurt to Berlin. Why couldn't I just fly into Berlin? Why did I have to stop in Frankfurt? And, but most of Europe, you fly into Frankfurt, then, it's 6 a.m. You're exhausted because you can't sleep. And then you got to wait 3 hours to get your flight to wherever, Romania, Ukraine, Spain, Italy. It then goes out of Frankfurt. Very, very rarely. I think I could fly direct, but it would be so expensive. So I don't care. I mean, I just sleep when I get there. But yeah, her flight will be much closer. And it'll be exciting to meet her finally. Jenna, it's old hat. We've met several times and now, which is good because we're comfortable. And so Daria will get comfortable the first day, and then it'll be fine. I'll buy her caviar. It's funny. She's showing me a picture of Christmas. They're eating fucking caviar. I'm thinking to myself, I'm giving her too much money if she's eating caviar, although it's Russia, so it's probably not too expensive. But I've never had it. It was pink. I didn't know what color it was. I saw in a movie it was like white and yellow. So I don't know how you serve caviar. I know it's fish eggs, whale eggs is all I know. But yeah, anytime you go to Europe, it's not, if you can, like flying out of Detroit, like you would come from Tampa, maybe you come to Detroit or Chicago or Philadelphia, and then leave at 7:00 at night and then fly during the night. You'd arrive at 5, 6 in the morning because of the time change. So it'd really be 2 in the morning, but it would be 6. So you'd lose your night's sleep. You'd be like, you're leaving Monday and then it's Tuesday morning. You're like, well, wait, I haven't slept Monday night yet. And you're not on the plane that long. It's 6, 7 hours, but then it's 5 hours, 6 hour time change. How about popcorn? Well, you can bring popcorn on. You can bring food in your bag. Like when I go, I have my duffel bag. I brought my avocados, candy bars, the dark chocolate I would bring for the room. I had hamburgers. I had made hamburgers, and then Jenna's like, oh, let's go to Berlin. Like, I just made 10 hamburgers, and she's telling me to go in 2 days. So I had all these hamburgers. So I brought like 4 of them, and they don't care. You just can't bring water in the cake. You can bring food, and it goes through the X-ray machine, and they never care about food. So you can bring chips, popcorn, some fruit, but be careful. And then it's all that kind of stuff. So I brought hamburgers in my little sealed container, and not a problem. I think I had one after the meal. But the meals are all carbs and, they give you a piece of chocolate cake and and a roll, and you're like, oh my God, do they realize how the carbs they're giving me? And you know what else are you going to eat? So you're eating it, but that's why I always don't feel good that when I land there. I feel kind of funny. All this sugar in my body, no. But that's what you can bring. But yeah, the first day you're fucked. I mean, you stay up, but you've what happened to my Monday night, and you're usually up early. So if you leave less than a Monday at let's say 4 o'clock, you get to Philadelphia at 6, and you leave at 7. So you're up early Monday packing or making sure of everything, going to the bank. It's a long Monday, and then next thing you know, you don't sleep. Now it's Tuesday morning. Now on the way home, it's easy because you leave. I left. Where was I? Berlin. I left at 10 o'clock in the morning. I got home at 2 o'clock. It was a 4-hour flight. It wasn't, but with the time change, I was home at 2:30 Monday, even though I left at 10:30 from Frankfurt. So, and as the day I was leaving, there was a big crime scene in front of the hotel. They got it all roped off. There's 30 cops, and when I get out the door to go to the Uber, there's 30 cops there, and I start walking. My Uber's in front, and they said, "Where you going?" There's a crime scene. I go, I got to get to the airport. I don't really give a fuck about your crime scene. Oh yeah, this is Berlin. Yeah, you guys do have a lot of crime. I forgot. 4 in the morning, they're having shootings. God. But that was one place I don't recommend. I mean, I do not want to be reminded of World War II and Hitler and the Nazis. So to me, it was kind of personal, and I really didn't want to see a lot of stuff. Oh, here's where Hitler was born. Here's the Reichstag, and here's where they killed the Jews in the concentration. I mean, it's like, well, who wants to see that? So I was like, fuck that. And so I didn't. I just went to the malls and the restaurants, and they didn't have a beach because it was cold out. A flight to Amsterdam airport. Not really 11. Oh my God, Bobby. 11 is it, Professor? All right. Say that again in English, Bobby. A flight to Amsterdam airport is not really 11 kins. It, Professor. 11 something dollars. I don't know what you're saying, Bobby. Help me out. So a flight to Amsterdam airport, I got that part, is not really 11. Now you're losing me. 11, but you got dollars there. So it's not really 11,000. Sorry, Bobby. Say it again. Now it's a tough one. I can't figure out that brain teaser. A flight to Amsterdam is closer than Germany. That's the other point, that you would fly in to go to Romania or something. A flight to Amsterdam is 11,000. Where are you getting that from? No. 1,100 maybe. All the flights to Europe are about 1,100. I went to Germany because it was only 650. So I said, wow, at this price, I'll go. But no, if I wanted to go to Amsterdam next week or 2 weeks from here, it'd be about $900, $1,000. Not 11,000. Maybe first class still wouldn't be 11,000. And maybe if you're talking a direct flight, I don't even know if there would be one from Tampa. I don't think there'd be Tampa to Amsterdam. It's probably too far. They'd probably stop in Detroit because Detroit's kind of a hub for Amsterdam. So they would probably send you that way. Food in Amsterdam's fine. They got the steakhouses and the what is it? The Argentinian beef. So no, the food's fine there. The food's fine and the women are fine. And there's casinos, and you've got the Van Gogh Museum, which is really cool. Let me show you. So here's Amsterdam, right? A lot of canals, but a lot of bridges. So you walk on the bridge, and if you want, you can take a boat ride or something. And here's the steakhouse. This is the menu. So it's a little bit blurry. It always confuses me because I don't know how they price their meat. It's like by kilograms, and I don't. Well, what is that? So there's your menu. This is an Argentina, El Argentino. It's Argentina Steakhouse. Really good food. There you go. And there's a lot of these. So that's where you eat, the steakhouses. Do have grocery stores, and those bakeries are incredible. I mean, I had like a blueberry tart. It was just so sweet. And then there's the girls. Only this was when it was closed. So the girls stand there in their underwear, and there's three girls and three different. They're apartment type of things. So you got a bed and a bathroom inside. The girl opens the door. You pay her. You have fun for a half hour. If you want more, you pay her more. I had one girl ask me if I wanted to spend the night with her for 500 euros. She was hotter than anything you see in America. So a lot of bicycles, and then this is kind of like the city. It's a lot of like the apartments in there. So it's pretty, and you're just walking and biking. And then here's some, else. So it's a cool place. And this is where the train station is. So that's the train station. And it's like, a half mile from where I just showed you. Nothing's very far. That whole area is a mile walk, but you're enthralled because of all the shops, and you're looking at all the stores, so you don't mind. This is me out when it was closed. This is Amsterdam, closed for COVID. The one fucking city in the world that would never close, closed. And this is me at the hotel. That was my view there. Here's a better view. But this isn't the downtown area. I took a tram to the downtown area. It was cheap. And that was that. And if you ever get a chance, this is Odessa, and I highly recommend it, but we'll have to see what happens. This is the Black Sea, and they have all these little beds with the umbrellas laid out. And so that was pretty cool. So you get all that. You get all the hot Russian girls in their bikinis. So it's very nice. It's like $20 for the bed for the day. And you go into the Black Sea, and it healed my foot. It healed my gout. And here we were at some restaurant eating champagne and oysters. And that's the Black Sea there in a different spot. That was pretty cool. And I always do this. So I took a shot at what the gas prices were in the Ukraine, but I don't know how to figure it out. So it was 17.20 for something, 29 and 28. Probably your who knows if that's euros or what. But it worked out well. So that's, Europe's kind of cool. But that's Amsterdam, and you just walk around. I never rented a bike from the hotel. You get on like the tram, like the subway, but it's not all underground. And it's 10 minutes, and you get to the train station. You get out, you walk 5-10 minutes. You're in that whole little section. There's a diamond exchange. There's I think it's a Heineken brewery or one of those beers. There's the Van Gogh Museum. That's where I got this from. And then you got a Rembrandt museum, and then you got all the girls, and you've got malls and grocery stores and steakhouses. It's really a great vacation, very relaxing, and it's nice to see a hot girl in her bikini, and you for €50, you're a happy guy. So there you go. You know, the raw lobsters. I didn't mind them. With Jenna, I didn't mind them. I normally wouldn't get them myself, but I didn't mind them. And make sure they're alive when you eat them. Mussels are like that too. If when you get the mussels, they should be open because they're alive, and then they close in the cold water, and then they should open. And if they don't open, you don't eat them because they're dead, and you don't want to eat dead mussels. I'm not sure if it's the same for oysters, but anyway, so I you know, everything tastes like chicken. You know that, Bobby Bo. But it's such a different world in Europe than it is here. It's a lot of walking more. There's a lot of stores. There's no crime you're really worried about. Unless you're in Russia and you happen to catch the mafia, you're pretty much safe. They pretty much leave you alone. Spend your money. Don't bother us. We won't bother you type of thing. And it's a very nice, I highly recommend going to Europe. Now, if they go to a gold-back ruble or gold-back euro, which they're, I think, trying to do, they're trying to buy gold so they can have a gold-back euro because they realize they're fucked. All these countries realize they're fucked. China, Russia just are the smartest too. And they know, wait, if the U.S. just keeps spending this money, we're fucked, as we realize it, right? So I'm telling you, we're fucked because you can't just keep printing money. Therefore, they know it. Most of the bankers are doing Ponzi schemes where they're just printing money to pay Bobby Bo his interest, and that's it. And then they make these real estate trusts out of thin air, and when the people stop paying, they just fuck everybody over, and which is what happened in 2008. It won't happen now. Well, everything's going to crash now. So when the stock market crashes, it's not the Morgan Stanleys, because it's not like they own the stock. It's you own the stock. You're the one getting fucked. And that's what will happen. The stock will go to zero, or, you got Microsoft at 200, it's now worth 10. Oh, by the way, we don't have dollars, so now it's in gold-backed currency. Good luck with that. So that's where we're all headed, and there's no way it's like inflation. You can't stop it. You can raise interest rates to 1,000%. You're not stopping inflation. That doesn't stop that you printed 20 trillion of these dollars, plus all the dollars outside of the country. And they all bought dollars in the stock market. So people in China, for example, have 1,000 shares of Microsoft. And guess what? When they realize the money's going down, they're going to pull their 1,000 shares out. What happens to the price of Microsoft? It drops, because if there's no buyers and it's sales, people are selling their shares and nobody buying the shares, the price goes down, which is what's happening. And so what'll happen is they'll all go into gold, not Bitcoin. I don't understand people with Bitcoin. Like, they don't understand it. It's going to go up. Why? Well, I don't know, but it's going to. So it just, shake my head, Bobby. I just shake my head with these guys. Let's see what gold is doing. Gold's 2028, so it's even. Silver 2076. Again, it's paper. This is not supply and demand. So I go to the gold store, and the guy's happy to see me because he's got questions that only I can answer. So he's like, "What's going on? What's happening?" I says, "Well, he's telling me we're talking about diamonds yesterday. So apparently Oppenheimer runs the diamond. What's that diamond company? What's the diamond cartel? De Beers. So apparently Oppenheimer runs De Beers, and they got the monopoly on diamonds because what they do, like Russia found all these diamonds. So they said, well, fuck you, De Beers, we're going to make them. The problem is you have to cut the diamond, and the diamond cutters would not fuck De Beers over because they knew they'd be in trouble. So Russia's sitting on all these diamonds, real diamonds that they can't cut. And then what happened is they came out with all these manufactured diamonds. Now, the difference is, for example, a real diamond, like a PSA 10, let's say it's $25,000. You want to buy your wife a ring and get her a real nice diamond, it's probably 25 grand. Or you can buy the manufactured diamond that you can't, looks like a PSA 10 for 2,000. So De Beers is getting this competition if you want a diamond, but it's fake. And so the wife, you got to tell the wife. So is she going to accept that she got the diamond, but it's manufactured and only costs 2,000? Or does she really want a real one and she wants to spend $25,000, $30,000 on a PSA 10 or PSA 9 diamond for her ring? That's up to how much she got and what the wife says. And I wouldn't fuck the wife over and say, oh, this is a real diamond and it's manufactured. You got to tell her that. But they'd probably, if it's a normal wife, she'd probably say, yeah, I'll take the manufactured for $2,000. But then I want, a new car, and you're going to get me some more jewelry, right? So that's what it is. We were talking about that, how De Beers has the market on diamonds. But diamonds aren't money. I says, how about gold and silver? He says, well, they have some because in the diamond mines there's gold and silver. But he says they're not trying to corner the market there. They want the price to go up, as do the Russians and the Chinese. So all these people want the price to go up of gold. So I was like, okay, then I don't care what they do. But it was interesting. He says, I don't stock the real diamonds. They're too expensive. And all my customers come in and want the manufactured diamonds. Now, I had no idea about this. I kind of heard about manufactured diamonds, but I never followed it up. So basically, if you're kind of poor and, you want to get married or want to get your girlfriend a nice diamond, you're going to get a manufactured one. That's going to be a couple grand, not 50 grand for a real one. That's it. I mean, that's what you're going to do. And De Beers holds the price high. And I explained to them because they don't have a monopoly, they can't do that. So they start lowering their price to compete with the manufactured ones. Or you have two markets, manufactured and real. But the problem is, and this is the problem with the jeweler, he doesn't have demand for the real diamonds. It's too expensive, especially now with inflation and people losing their jobs in the middle of a recession. People aren't going to buy diamonds unless they're Warren Buffett or Bill Gates or something. The average guy is going to say, yeah, I'll take the manufacturer one for $2,000. So De Beers is fucked because they can't compete in the marketplace because they're too expensive. And that, how many people really, want to get the real diamond versus the manufactured? But in my mind, the manufactured's not a diamond. I mean, it's not real. So I don't know how you can do that. What are you going to tell your wife? Well, we're buying a fake diamond for you. I mean, she's going to be so pissed. How can you do a fake diamond for your fiance or wife? So I don't know what they're going to do. But De Beers, again, because they're a monopoly, they raise their prices very high, which forced this manufactured diamond into the marketplace. Mostly what Tesla's doing. They're making their electric cars $100,000 a car. They'll never sell it. So there'll be something else for $20,000. Tesla can't figure that out. But that's the problem, because it's not a monopoly item. Because you don't have to buy the real diamond, you can buy the manufactured diamond. Now, some people might not tell their wife, say, "Yep, here's your diamond. Let's get married." Oh, wow, this, because it looks great. You can't tell the difference, which is probably why I was watching this Siberia movie where Keanu Reeves is trying to sell these blue diamonds to the Russian mafia. So it kind of fit the point of the day. But that's the problem. So people can't afford it. So now you're in a market that there is no demand for, right? You have no market. Well, I'm going to sell a diamond here for $25,000 and the market's here at $2,000. You're fucked because you can't sell any of them. So you got to lower your price down where the people at the $2,000 are going to buy it. And that's the problem. And that's how every market works. You can only have a monopoly in an area where you have to buy. You don't have to buy a diamond. And if they're going to give you manufactured, or you know what, you can buy rubies and sapphires. Sapphire, beautiful blue, and rubies are beautiful red, and emeralds are beautiful green. They're all high-end, what do you call them? High-end stones, like diamonds. So you get that instead if you need to. I'm going to buy you a sapphire diamond ring or a sapphire ring, and it's a lot cheaper. But yeah, so the problem is that they don't understand economics. The diamond guys, the Bears, the Oppenheimers. So they've got, like he said, they got miles and miles of diamonds. But who cares? It's probably like the one thing that who cares? It's not a necessary. It's not a need. It's a want. You don't even need it when you get married. You can buy them, like I said, a ruby. You can buy them a fake one, or you can buy them a ruby or a sapphire or an emerald. You don't need to buy them that. And I'm sure the girl would understand. I really want a house and a car. I don't need a $50,000 diamond. Unless they're, Warren Buffett or one of these rich guys that it doesn't matter to. Like, the Bill Gates is going to want a real diamond, but me and you, honey, you're going to get a fake diamond, but I'm going to tell you it's a manufactured diamond. That way you can show it as a diamond, but by the way, I'll be getting you a car. So I think that's more practical than a diamond on your ring. So I thought that was very interesting. The things I learned at the gold store. So he can't get any more silver, and he keeps getting this RAB or RNB silver, which is it's okay. I don't like the back looks like a checkerboard. I feel like I'm looking at Tennessee, except for it's not colored. And I'd rather get the gold. So I keep getting the gold maple leaves. And it's worth more. It's fine. It's the U.S. is $250, and I paid $230 for the maple leaf. So again, they don't understand competition. Why are you pricing the U.S. more than the maple leaf? They're both 1/10 of an ounce of gold or 1/2 an ounce of gold. Why are you charging more? You can't answer it. I can go to Switzerland, and I don't think Egon's going to care if it's. He's going to say, "Oh, it's 1/10 of an ounce of gold. That's all because it's gold. Gold hits 20,000 an ounce." They're not saying maple leaf, Cougaran, U.S., Russian, China, whatever. They're saying, "Oh, you got gold." So that's what we're heading on. But if you have a lot of gold, I would look to put some of it somewhere, probably Switzerland. If you have like 100 ounces, I would probably take 50 to Switzerland and the other 50 keep here in a safe, warm place. But I don't know what else you're going to do with it. You don't want it all out. So I don't think there's anything wrong like keeping 10 or 15 ounces in the house, as long as you know where the other 75, 80 is. Then you're fine. So right now we're in the waiting stage. We understand what's going on. We know they're keeping the price down. We know the central banks are still buying it hand over fist. There's huge demand. So the price is not showing the demand. So the demand's up here. So it should be right now 10,000 an ounce, but the price is here because they're keeping it down as the demand grows because it's so cheap. The demand gets higher and higher. Going, oh hell, like me. Oh, it's only $2,100. Fuck, I'll buy more. I'll buy more. But it's limited, and all the central banks want it, and Russia and China want it, as does BRICS and Saudi Arabia, and they want it for their oil. So the demand for gold's through the roof. I don't know how much longer they're going to keep the price down, but because the U.S. doesn't have any gold, they don't want the price to go up, which is a huge mistake for them. Why aren't they buying it? Now, does J.P. Morgan and Goldman Sachs and Wells Fargo and these banks have gold? I think the bullion banks do. Wells Fargo, Bank of America, J.P. I think they have gold. It just doesn't get in with the Federal Reserve. So they look at the Federal Reserve and they say, oh, Russia's got 2,000 ounces. Yeah, but Putin's got 32,000. So I don't really care about the central bank of Russia. More or less, I care about Putin and his swimming pool or his rec room in the basement. Probably got one of those pool tables that turn inside out, and all his gold's in there or something like that. So we know China, Russia demanding it. So the price, to me, it's almost like Russia and China are telling them to keep the price low so they can buy more. And the U.S. is like too stupid. It's like how they make them bunglers in all the movies. Like, oh, he's U.S. and they don't know what end of the rifle to hold. Typical how they make the U.S. look bad in some of these movies. And it's exactly what's happening. We're too stupid to buy gold and silver. Yet, how are we going to survive? We don't. Our money's no good. Nobody wants it. They don't want the sanctions. Not only that, but they don't want the money. It's worthless. And how did the fucking world get caught in these fiat money where every country's money is worthless? How did that happen? Besides George Soros, right? So it's just crazy. But all you can do is learn and understand, which we've done. We understand it, and we know it's just a matter of time till it's gone. It starts once people realize they're all getting fucked, and how, Bobby, your girlfriend is too thick to. Oh no, we leave our money in the bank. How she doesn't understand that. I hope you show her my video or have her talk to me. I mean, that's just ridiculous. She's going to lose all she has. She doesn't understand that. You cannot leave your money in dollars. It's the Titanic. It's gone. It's at the bottom of the ocean. The only survivor is gold and silver. So she doesn't understand what's going on. She thinks the banks are safe. The banks aren't safe. Are you fucking kidding me? The banks. And if you look, there's a lot of danger videos out there. Oh, the Great Depression, the Great Crash, this, all coming down the road. All of our idiot guys who still don't understand inflation coming out with their little videos. So they can say, look, I told you. That's one thing I never do or did, or I don't do this for that, is to say, I told you so. I'm trying to help. I'm not trying to rub it in and say, I told you so. So that's really the thing. And it bothers me when people try to rub in like, ha, I picked a game and you didn't. I hear that again, whoever it is, you won't be posting anymore. So it's a fair warning. That's not the point of this. And that's not even how I bet. I bet the game over. I lost by 2. That was my impression based on the way I analyze. I seem to remember that guy had Ohio State and I had Missouri. So, I don't rub it in that I had it. I can't answer. All right. That was my friend. I'm trying to help be stoic. The boyfriend keeps giving her a problem. There's a lot of yelling going on. And I said, just be stoic. So I sent her a few stoic videos. Basically, if you're getting yelled at, you just ignore it. You don't have power. The bully has no power if you're ignoring the bully. And so if you want to have a calm conversation, we have it. If he's trying to bully or do stuff like that, you then just ignore it, and then they can't really bully you. Anyway, so belly who? What's that mean, Greg and John? Anyway, so that's my point. That's why I boot people out of here, is that don't sit there and say, oh, you picked the Michigan game wrong. That's over with. We're looking at this week. All I know is I had a lot of good games last week that won, but nobody's saying, oh yeah, it was a great pick. You picked that game. So don't get on me for picking a game wrong. I don't want to hear it. And I'm not going to, next time, I'm going to warn the person because I know him, but that's it. Means greetings as D goes, fortune in Europe. Means greetings as D, good fortune in Europe. Oh, okay. That's fine. That'll work. I never heard that one before, but normally it's bon appetit is a European, like enjoy your food. And then I tell Jenna a lot, do svidaniya, which means good night. But I do it to say, look, I know some Russian, and I'll say, do svidaniya. Like she'll be talking Russian and to her friends, and then I am listening, and then I say, do svidaniya. And I'm joking. She doesn't get I'm joking. She's like, Howard, not now. And I'm like, just a joke. So I got to leave Daria a message that says, look, I don't want to not go 3 days and not hear from you. So I don't get it. Like you wake up, maybe she has breakfast, maybe not, gets dressed, goes to work, works 12-hour days. Can't text me from work because they get mad at her. That's the work environment, no texting. I understand that. And then when she gets home, she must feed her daughter and eat and go to sleep. That's all I can think of. And so I'm trying to learn not to take it personally. Like, it's not like she didn't want to text me. It's she's so busy. And I got to remember she's got a daughter and it's a full day at work. So I don't want to get too much on her because we talked a lot New Year's Eve and New Year's Day, and she got her teeth done. She was real happy that she got the 2 implants in. So, I don't really have any fears about it. It's just like nice to get, hello, how are you? Love you. You just need that feel, but that's human. That's human nature. So anyway, so this is what's happening with the banks. They just do their thing, but they never get prosecuted. Hence the Ponzi scheme. That's why I'm surprised Madoff did it the wrong way. He should have just teamed up with JP Morgan and let him print money. He never would have been caught. And really, I don't see any difference between what Madoff did and what the banks do. If the banks have customers and they need to pay them interest, they print the money. Because there's only so many people that put their money in the banks. But that's why it's a Ponzi scheme. The banks want you in the bank because they need your money. And the banks want you in the stock market because they need the stocks to go up to say, look, you made money. Because Microsoft can't go up if nobody buys it. I mean, the way a stock works is supply and demand. Microsoft at 100. And then me and Bobby come in and we buy it, and then the price goes up. And then we sell it and the price goes down. But if we don't buy it, we buy Coca-Cola instead, the Microsoft stock probably goes down a little bit or doesn't go up. It can only go up if somebody buys it. But they want you in the market because they are selling you this fantasy. You can make money in the stock market, which is horseshit. That's manipulated and controlled also. And that's why when I bought the gold stocks, it was in a 1030 out by 4. I was never staying long in my gold stocks. I made a lot of money doing that. Now I don't touch them because they don't move, and I'd rather be in physical. It's funny. I don't really want to play poker because I don't want to lose at the poker room because that's 20 ounces of silver I could buy. So I just assume just go buy the silver. Know it's going to go up. So that's what we know is gold and silver will go up. We know because Russia and China want it to, and all the mafia has the dollars in the banks, and that's kind of what we're waiting on. But they won't be able to keep it going. It'll eventually they won't be able to control it. It'll go, and then when it goes, everybody will run to gold, as the story's told, as what should happen. So I don't know how much control the banks have to continually keep the gold price down. But the fact that we have Russia and China on our side and BRICS who want more and more gold, who want the gold price higher, I don't know. They got mafias there too. The Russian mafia and the Chinese mafia want the price to go up. So we're betting on our mafia being stronger than the U.S. mafia, which it probably is. The Russians are the best at it. So we want to be on the side of the Russians. But that's where we're at. So we've got to get into real assets. We realize the money's going out, and that's where we stand with it. So that's what we're looking at. Anyway, so that's your football. I'll film in the scores tomorrow. So we like Cleveland, Houston, Cleveland 244, Miami, KC, KC 4.5, 44, 4 degrees, and 17-mile-an-hour winds. We got Pitt, Buffalo 10, 37, 25 degrees out, 27-mile-an-hour winds. As you know, it's impossible to play you can't throw the ball in the wind. Green Bay, Dallas is 7 and 50. Love against Prescott in a dome. LA, Detroit 3 and 51 in a dome. Philly, Tampa, they're playing at Bobby's house. Philly 3 and 44. Hurts against Mayfield. Hurts is injured. I'm sure Mayfield's ribs still bothering him. 14-mile-an-hour winds, 70 degrees. Philly's a matter of is their stars healthy on offense, then it's going to be high scoring. LA, Detroit, probably high scoring. And the Rammies, Green Bay, Dallas, probably over. Buffalo, Pitt, don't even fuck with it, just go under. Miami, KC, don't fuck with it, just go under. Believe me, Miami is not going to want to play in 4-degree weather. It's not going to happen. And Cleveland, Houston in a dome. Cleveland 244. I think it's an over. I don't know to trust Flacco, who's 75 years old, or to trust Stroud, who went to Ohio State, which I can't do. Again, you lost to Michigan twice in a row. That's the bottom line because Stone Cold said so. I cannot bet a guy that loses 2 years in a row to Michigan. Sorry, ain't going to happen. So that is week 1 of the NFL. We'll review it tomorrow. We've got the first 2 games Saturday. They're making a whole big thing about it. Then they got 3 games Sunday, and then you got the stupid Monday night game. It's like, give it a rest. Oh, they're going to pay all this money why don't we have it on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday too then? Why don't we have a game tomorrow and a game Saturday and a game Sunday and a game Monday, Tuesday, and a game Wednesday? And they'll all be on strange networks that nobody has. Yeah, that'll be really intelligent. So when you say, Greg and John, $200 million or whatever for it, is that a lot of money for these guys? They're getting billions from the TV. And by the way, they don't care about their players. I think the 17-game season's ridiculous. Look at all the injuries. I think it's too many games. I think 16 is the max. And to cut out a preseason game, like, do you think you could cut out a preseason game and play a Week 18 game is the same? I don't think so. And you got so many terrible teams and all these backup quarterbacks. And let's take 5 minutes to look at reviews and injuries. It's just so hard to watch. It's really ridiculous. All right, 2 hours 36. Bobby Bo, Greg and John, have a nice day. Everybody else, have a nice day. Pretty much got it figured. Philly, it's figured it's just who plays. And we'll know probably Monday. Hopefully we'll know Sunday so we can make a bet. Betting a teaser, it's hard. Because we need the partner. In the worst case, we can bet it with the game next week, which we should know most of those games. For sure the AFC games. We can take Baltimore or San Francisco with it if we need to. And that's about it. So again, a fraudulent college playoff game. No Georgia, ridiculous. And 4 teams. You got 132 teams. You got 8 divisions. You play four teams, and you want to call it a playoff. Yeah, I don't think so. What are they thinking there? You have a bunch of bowls that nobody wants to go to, and all the players don't want to play in it. It's like, okay, I'm not, forget. Let's think of something else. Again, you're always looking for a market. You're always looking for demand, and you don't have demand in a bowl game now. Even the players don't have the demand. So I don't really know what the hell's going on, but they better fix it because it's really, if they think, well, we'll just have a game and there'll be bets on it. How much you making on the bets? So you making more on the bets than the TV? I don't think so. But don't get caught into this live betting. It's really bad. It's really stupid. It's a bet that you're not used to making. And how do you analyze it? You have no idea how to analyze it. So I would avoid that. Bitcoin's a Ponzi scheme. I'd avoid that. Just buy your gold and relax. I don't get it. You tell people gold and it's going to go way up. You're going to make a fortune. You have no risk. You can't go to zero. And yet they still don't buy it. You're like, well, okay, then don't come crawling to me when you lose everything in your stocks and your banks and your Bitcoin. Don't come crawling to me because that's not going to happen, right? I've told you what to do. So anyway, so last warning, you start fucking with me on a game I got wrong or something, you're not going to be able to talk anymore. You'll be quieted. I mean, I don't like to do that, but you're leaving me no choice because I don't want to get caught up in that conversation. So it's going to be ignored. But instead of keep reading it and ignoring it, because you get my thought process off of what I'm trying to explain, I'll just hide you and we can go from there. All right, everybody, www.teaserking.com. I got one lot going. The free play is Detroit over. I got 3 or 4 plays posted already for this week's games. And good luck to you. Again, the cold, windy games are unders. That's for future knowledge. All right. Have a great day, everybody. www.teaserking.com. Take care.